Welcome back, Guardians. Profane here. Thanks for checking out the video. Today I want to talk about how one ordinary weapon trait has now become one of the most valuable legendary weapon traits that you can have on your weapon in Destiny 2 right now. Last week, update 7.3.5 kicked in, and when it did, several changes went into effect with various weapons and weapon perks, including a change to the heal clip weapon trait. If you're unfamiliar with this weapon trait, it's available on several legendary solar weapons, and it provides you with Cure whenever reloading after defeating an enemy. This is an ability that's typically found only on solar subclasses, but it's been made available on weapons like the Jurassic Green Pulse Rifle, the Abyss Defiant and Summoner Auto Rifles, the Heliocentric Sidearm, the Aramite Fusion Rifle, and the Igneous Hammer, just to name a few. When update 7.3.5 went into effect, Heal Clip received a substantial increase to its performance, and it now provides its wielder with a ×2 cure effect, while also providing any nearby ally with a 1 stack of cure. Before this update, Heal Clip only provided 1 stack of cure to both the wielder and allies. Each stack of cure provides 60 points of health when in PvE content, and 30 points of health when you're in the Crucible. This might have been a weapon trait that you'd scoff at and pass over it in previous seasons, but with how the power creep in Destiny has evolved, along with the improved health recovery, this weapon trait almost single-handedly improves your ability and your teammates' ability to outlive your opponents and stay alive under the harshest of conditions, making this an extremely viable weapon trait to have in PvP or in PvE. After getting a final blow, you'll have just over 5 seconds to reload your weapon to activate Heal Clip. This is actually an extremely useful mechanic that gives you much more control over its use, because it doesn't trigger Heal Clip right as you get the kill, and it doesn't trigger it when the reload starts, but instead it triggers it once the reload is complete, so you have time to wait, if you want it, before triggering that health recovery. This could really help out if you're having to revive an ally whose ghost is in a bad spot, or if you're letting your own health get a little bit lower. And with multiple teammates running Heal Clip, you could effectively provide everyone with never-ending sources of health recovery without having to use special exotics, or healing grenades, rifts, and wells of radiance. This weapon trait does possess unique synergy with solar subclasses, as it's able to trigger several aspects and fragments, but in no way does that limit the use of Heal Clip to just being used with solar subclasses. Having this weapon trait on any of these weapons will give you and your team a huge advantage in survival when running any subclass. Since Heal Clip does get triggered at the end of the reload, it will be wise to have partnering barrel and magazine traits that increase the reload speed of your weapon. Some of the weapons that we mentioned earlier, like the Abyss Defiant, offer the adept version of this weapon trait. This doesn't increase the effects of the healing, but it does elongate the window in which you have to reload your weapon, increasing it from 5.3 seconds to just over 6 seconds, which is a lot of time if you think about it. So how does Heal Clip compare to other healing weapon traits like Unrelenting or the Soul Drinker origin trait, made famous by the Forbearance? Unrelenting grants 70 points of health, but this requires killing at least 3 rank and file enemies, or 1 high-ranking enemy, and in the Crucible, you would need to kill 2 enemies before it would get triggered. It doesn't require reloading, but it also doesn't share that health recovery, and since it requires multiple rank and file enemies, it's not nearly as efficient as Heal Clip. Soul Drinker is in a similar position. Its health recovery is triggered once reaching a threshold, and it's based on how many targets you hit, and the size of the magazine will have a major impact. Soul Drinker will provide 50 points of health, unless it's getting its benefits doubled with the use of an origin trait booster perk. It's easier to trigger Soul Drinker, but it's also an origin trait that's exclusive only to weapons from the Vow of the Disciple, and it only grants that health recovery to its user. Vanguard's Vindication is an available origin trait, but it's only found on Nightfall weapons, and it only grants 10 points of health, and Stunning Recovery will grant 60 points of health recovery, but only after stunning a champion, And again, all of those effects only impact the user, whereas Heal Clip provides its user with 120 points of health, plus 60 points to all nearby allies. So if you're struggling to get through lost sectors, raids, nightfalls, dungeons, or anything else, then get yourself a weapon with Heal Clip. And get your buddies to use those weapons too, and see where that gets you, because I guarantee you're going to have a lot more success out of this weapon trait. And with that said, I wish you all the best of luck out there. Thank you as always for checking out the video. If you enjoyed and found it helpful, then be sure to hit that like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated, and both really do help support the channel. If you're a new Light Guardian, just starting your journey, or a battle-hardened veteran, just looking for a new home, then be sure to check out the Discord link in the description below and join one of the greatest communities in all of Destiny. And until next time, this has been Profane, wishing you all some happy hunting.